What happened? See the volatility on this thing? It was 640 just 2 minutes ago. If you type CME Euro Dollar futures, it's a lot easier to reach it rather than navigating through the CME website. CME is short for Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Now, let's talk about the specs. This is what we call a cash settled contract. Technically speaking, you don't have to borrow or lend at maturity, but the contracts are cash settled according to a reference interest rate index. And that's reference interest rate index is the 3-month LIBOR rate on third Wednesday of the contract month. So if you're talking about the March contract, that would be third Wednesday, 15th, okay? So when that time comes, exchange is gonna look at the LIBOR fix it that day on March 15th, and that's gonna be the R. The LIBOR is, there's a consortium called LIBOR Consortium. These are a lot of major banks that have operations in London, United Kingdom, not London, Kentucky. Every day they post a rate that they are willing to lend at any bank in that consortium. That's why it's called an offer rate. So I'm willing to lend at 453. Any bank in that consortium can come and borrow from me at that rate. And after each bank does this, you take the average of them. That's the LIBOR rate. And the way these contracts are traded, the price is 100 minus the implied rate. And the idea is if interest rates go up, that decreases the price. Typically, we associate interest rates going up with a negative connotation, and shorting means things are going bad, and I'm going to benefit from them. And if interest rates go down, you make money if you're long, okay? And the way it's settled, it's 2,500 times whatever 100 minus the index is. And you could easily, so-called tick value is $25. That means for each 1 basis move in the interest rate, the value of the contract goes up and down by $25. That's a lot easier to calculate. And the reason it's 25 because this is for 3 months, right? These are essentially forward contracts on 3-month euro dollar rate, and euro dollar expression comes from, it has nothing to do with the currency euro. Way back in 70s, there was a cap on interest rates that Fed put on. And when the inflation was high in 70s, and a lot of banks offered their clients so-called euro dollar deposits, which means I took your money, I actually transferred to a bank that was domiciled in, at those days, Europe, but somewhere outside the US. Since there was no regulation on that, I could offer you an interest rate I wanted. Though that's why these dollars were called euro dollars. Now that bank can be in Japan as long as the deposit is denominated in US dollars. That's a euro dollar deposit. the way these work, for example, let's look at compared to Friday. Let's look at the February contract. Oh, there's not much volume in that, but let's look at it anyway. It went up by 1.75 basis points, okay? That means for each contract you would have made or lost, depending upon the direction of your position, 25 times 1.75. And if you think about the notional size of the loan, it's actually $1 million. Think about the difference in interest for $1 million. So 1.2 times 0.01%. That's what a basis point is, divided by 4. Okay. Remember, these are 3 months. So that is actually $25. So these contracts technically are on a deposits for $1 million on multiples. So if you have 1,000 contracts, we're talking about a 3-month forward rate on a notional amount of $1 billion. And these are very liquid. I mean, look at this. This is volume. Just this morning, 51,000 contracts. That's $51 billion. If you look at the open interest, 800,000 contracts on March. Okay, so that's $800 billion if you think about it. One thing about Eurodollar futures, most of the volume is on the contract months that are end of the quarters. So it would be March, June, September, and December. You would also have contracts for the near month, like February and April, but after that, and May, after that, it's all end of quarters. And you can see even quite a bit to the future, there's a lot of volume. And let's look at the, the open interest. I mean, we have over 100,000 all the way until end of December 2025. So if you wanted to think about what market is betting on the 3-month interest rates are going to be on December 2025, you just, let's go to quotes. $96.61, that implies a rate of 100 minus that. So that would be 359, okay? And currently, let's look at just March, or let's look at February, 95.13. There's more volume on this one, so let's look at this one. 94.94, that's 5.06. So market, if you believe that is betting that interest rates are going to go down over the next 2.5 years. But all of that is actually coming from the forward contracts that we talked about, forward interest rates. Now, we can use these contracts to hedge our interest rate exposure. Let's think about a firm, a bank, that just placed a mortgage, okay, 30-year mortgage. These are over 3 months, but let's pretend that's the case. Let's find out. Let's open the file we had last Wednesday.